Hello, sexy souls, and welcome to another podcast recording with the divine Kiana Kiki Smith. She has been dancing since the age of 3 and is trained in styles such as hip hop, locking, popping, house, jazz, tap, ballet, musical theater, and burlesque. After graduating at only 16 years old, Kiana moved to Toronto, first studying at Randolph Academy, where she got a bachelor in musical theater. Kiana is a seasoned and passionate performer, choreographer, and teacher, and judged many dance competitions across Canada. She is also the CEO and owner of Dance at Home and Save the First Dance. Kiana is the creator of the newest dance event in Toronto, Unite Dance Showcase, a showcase made to bring all generations, genres, and scenes of the industry together to support and celebrate all aspects of this widely diverse industry and create opportunities for artists to collaborate with other great minds. Welcome to the show, Kiana.
Hello, thanks for having me, April. Hello to all the listeners. I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you so much for saying yes. I honestly just got to say, you inspire me. I've worked with you with Save the First Dance, with our first dance for our wedding. And then I witnessed your magical creation with your Unite Dance, that showcase. And just witnessing you, I just got to say, you're pretty badass. And I invited you to celebrate you, but to hear your story. So I want you to maybe just even start. What are 3 big turning points that make up who you are today?
Oh, what a great question. It's so hard to define 3 turning points. There's so many things from, a conversation you could have with some random human on the streetcar to a big life-changing trip. It's so hard to define those. I think the first one it's more of an era. I think I'm going to start way back. My mom is a huge inspiration to me and influence on my life. And thanks, Mom, for everything. And so I started training. I grew up in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And when I was about 8 or 9, I started taking trips to Vancouver. And she would come with me every time and would be like, okay, east, west, where are we going? What bus do you take? Where does it go? And then I'd watch her, talk to the different choreographers I'd work with or the different dance moms and help me. She would help prompt me with interview questions that somebody might ask when I did little interviews at the conventions, and just watching her and how she conducts herself really inspired me and taught me, how to go for what I want, how to conduct myself, how to talk to people, how to network, how to really go for it. And fast forward a few years, I started going to Vancouver by myself, and I had all those lessons and tools and skills that she gave me that I didn't realize she was giving me all those years as a kid. And that I think fast forward again, just after my 17th birthday, I moved to Toronto. And that, looking back now, as I am teaching 17-year-olds, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so young. How did I do this by myself? My parents stayed back in BC and just probably holding their hands, praying that I was okay. But in the moment, it felt so right. And so, yeah, I would say that the era of going to Vancouver with my mom, and just watching her, she's an event planner. So, it runs in the family, I guess, but, she's an event planner and just so skilled when talking to people. And so watching her really became a part of who I was. So I think that's definitely one turning point or turning era, I'll say. And it's because of her. The second turning point, this is more of an isolated incident. I think I was 10 or 11, and I went to this competition called Shine Dance Festival. in Vancouver. I went there every year. It was right around my birthday. Tamara, if you end up listening to this, great work on everything. Anyways, one year I did a Cat in the Hat musical theater solo. And the adjudicator that year, Faye Rao, she gave me a special award, and she named it the Baby You Got It Award. And I was so amazed by her, what she had accomplished, how she conducted herself. Obviously, as a kid too, when you see an adjudicator, you're like, oh my gosh, you're a star, you're a celebrity. So when I got this award, it but really at that age too, meant the world to me. And she was teaching at Randolph Academy at that time. And she said to my mom, if your daughter in, 7, 8, 10 years is still doing what she's doing, I really think you should send her to Randolph. So 6 years later, I am in grade 11. I am fast tracking to try to graduate early, and I audition to get into Randolph, and I make it. So because of Faye and her kind words and that little award that was just a fun thing for the festival, was one of the triggers to me actually taking the big leap and moving to Toronto, which is already almost 10 years ago. Crazy. But yeah, so Faye had a huge impact there. Third turning point. You know what? I'm going to say the summer before COVID, and COVID itself, or quarantine, I should say, I can know without saying or hearing anybody else's story, we've all been affected by COVID in whichever way. Right before quarantine, I actually had planned on moving to LA. I had saved up and was working with a lawyer to get my visa. This is what I want to do. I'm going to dance. I mean, I still am dancing, but it was the LA scene. And I quit all my teaching jobs because I was leaving. And then something told me, oh, hang tight for a second. And the summer, what was that, 2019? Yes, 2019. I had to take a step back from dancing, period, actually, because I was like, something feels really strange. And as far as just when I talk about going to LA, I go out to whatever events or parties, and when usually I'd be so excited to jam and get in the ciphers, I got so nervous. And the more I thought with it, when I talked to certain mentors of mine, I realized, okay, let me take a step back. And I actually took that summer to go to Cirque du Soleil, to go to some concerts, to go out and wear a dress, because I don't think about dancing, and just do human things. And I realized that was the first time in my whole life that I had actually moved as a human first, not as a dancer first. I started dancing when I was 3, and everything I've done was always, how can I move forward? How can I get better? I need to be training. Who can I talk to like meet and get on a job, or just like learn from, or, and it was always very dance heavy. But between that summer and then obviously quarantine, when you can't be dancing all the time or making money off of it, at least, it really forced me to, oh, okay, let's redefine what this relationship with dance is. And also, what else do I enjoy? I love being around love and the feelings of love, hence where Save the First Dance was born out of. And I have a love of organizing and the event planning that I watched my mom do for years. I actually really have an interest in that. And if it weren't for that summer, and honestly, quarantine, which it sounds crazy to say, but I'm very grateful for it. I could be in LA right now, still probably loving what I'm doing, but not on this path that I'm happy to be on. So all the way from childhood up to COVID, those are some key turning points.
Wow. I'm just like witnessing you. And I'm like, oh, it's fascinating. Because even when I read your bio, I'm like, graduated when she was 16. I'm like, that's a big deal. For you to
Yeah,
just be
it was
that
work.
focused and get all your ducks in a row to move across the country to Toronto to pursue your dreams, your passion. So that takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of courage. 17-year-old making the
Crazy,
move. Like,
crazy. My poor parents. I don't know if I would
oh,
be able to handle my daughter moving, but hey, hats off to my parents.
wow.
Yeah,
You did it. And you said, so 10 years here in Toronto.
yeah,
Um,
crazy.
Congratulations, because Toronto
Thank you.
can eat you alive. I've had like I moved here, I think around probably 10 years ago. Mine's approaching 12 years.
Wow.
Approaching 11 years. So we probably moved around the same time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Like
2013 for
2011.
me. So
Oh,
9 years,
okay.
I guess, for me, but
Yeah,
very close.
very
Hmm.
close. But like when I made the move, it took balls, right, to book this
Of
one-way
course.
flight across the country. And I've had some friends who came and then gone back.
Hmm.
So like I know that it can be tough, right?
For
And so
sure.
I guess my next question is, what do you have any advice for your 17-year-old self? Any advice to your younger self if you wish you knew 9 years
Hmm.
ago? Any
Hmm.
advice for her?
Oh, do I ever? um, I love this question, and it changes every time, to be honest. But um, I think the biggest one that I would tell myself is that it doesn't matter. We, especially in high school, to isolate an era that everyone experiences in some way. In high school, everything matters so much. What people think of you, who you talk to, like in a 10-minute class change, how much could go down? So, oh my gosh, so and so broke up, something happened, this is happening this weekend. Everything really mattered. And so I moved here, obviously, with that same mindset. And with every year that goes by, I realize how little things really matter in the grand scheme of things. If it's important to me, then it matters. But if
Yeah.
what somebody thinks of me, who agrees with what I'm doing, who doesn't, you know, the list goes on. It really doesn't matter unless it really is important to me and progresses um, with what I'm trying to do. So I think I would just tell myself at 17, prioritize you. Don't listen to what everybody has to say, because people will, especially in a big city, will try to, whether it's take advantage of you, will try to, turn you in a different direction. Not everyone has your best interest. So trust your gut and stay true to you. Mm-hmm.
Mm, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so with that, with trusting your gut, and you developed a lot of skills, when you were witnessing your mom, and what a beautiful story of how you're
Mm.
celebrating her and what you learned from her.
She's
But
a rock star.
oh,
Yeah.
my gosh, she did a great job. As
Oh,
I witness you, like let's celebrate her. What's her name?
Trish.
Trish, you are badass. Thank you for leading by
Mm-hmm.
example and raising a queen.
Thanks,
So,
Mom.
oh, but I guess what is one of the most important skills that you developed that brought you where you are today?
Hmm. Um, it sounds so simple, but I think the skill of being able to say no, that's always been a really hard one for me. I've always been a people person. I love making new friends, learning about people, socializing with people all around the world, and it similarly, I love experiencing as much as I can. But sometimes you just have to say no, whether it's for a job, whether it's to certain energies in your life, to even thoughts in your head that aren't doing you any good. I think that learning how, and this is still something I'm learning every day, it's a continuous journey, learning when to say, that's not for me, and that's okay, is probably the biggest skill that I've learned and I'm learning. Because I used to say yes to everything, to every human, to every job, to everything, just because I'm here in the big city, I want to experience it all, but it's not always for your best. And learning when to say no or no thank you, and move, to really feel your intuition and what's right for you.
Wow. Well said. Definitely. And that is a skill that has, same here. Like I'm still learning to say that.
Always.
And I know for me, I have this big perfectionism that also comes with the people please. And that also comes with external validation. It's like, it shows up, I'm like, I thought I dealt with that.
I thought.
There it is again.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead, leave. No thanks.
So thank you. Like, that's a beautiful reminder for me and to the listeners. How about the biggest challenge that you've experienced on your journey?
I want to say the same thing. Saying no. I have always had a really hard time with confrontation from when I was young up till current day. And it's been a work in progress, especially being a boss, literally, it's running a company and being a leader, being a teacher, whatever it is, or even just on a job, even though I may not be at the top, but I still deserve a certain level of respect and to be treated a certain way. So I think the biggest challenge that I've had the journey of facing in many different circumstances is when to stand up for myself and be okay, and learning how to assert myself and handle certain confrontation when it's necessary, obviously, and how to get my point across to especially in a leader role, right? To get my point across and be firm in that, but also being aware of how I'm being perceived. I'm a very loving, giving, open person. And even though I can still move with love, in the words of April Miranda, there's, learning how to handle confrontation and being able to say, no, this is not what I want. This is not how it needs to be. And being okay with being a little less, quote unquote, lovey, and giving, because as I said earlier, people will take advantage of that. And that's why it's been a challenge, because I want to give, I want to love, but having people walk all over you time and time again, you learn those lessons, and, we're figuring out a way to continuously find that happy balance between love, always, but, and confrontation, if you will, and confidence to really stand up for what you deserve and believe in, etc.
Yes. And I could feel how firm you can be, like when just standing in your truth and speaking and asking for what you need. Like I could feel it, even you just talking about, but even like the way you carry yourself with such class and respect.
Thank you.
Like I can feel that you mean business. Right?
It's important.
With love.
With love, yeah.
Right. Here's the healthy boundary, with love.
With love, yeah. Like there's such a misconception, I think, of I want to say, especially with females or female identifying people, it's I find that there's such a balance between being confident, being assertive, knowing what you want, and being, you know, I don't know if what I'm allowed to say here, but and
Say it
being
all.
and being a bitch, you know, and being rude and being sorry. And so there's been that fine line, and I've always really shied away from being perceived as that and not wanting people to not like me or to think that I'm that way, because I'm not. But just because I'm confident and I want it this way doesn't mean I don't move with love still. So I think it's a really important, especially in this industry, a thing to practice and find your own version of that balance.
Yeah, no, I hear you
Mm-hmm.
and I feel you so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I've experienced, yes, working with you with Save the First Dance was such a joy, and witnessing your dance production that you created.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is really cool. So that's what I witnessed you, and sharing your gifts and your passion. But like, what is lighting you up right now? What is your biggest passion project right now?
Right now, kind of two hand in hand. Those two you just said, they both marry. Pardon me. Event planning in general, and being on the back end and running things. I've always been in front of the camera and on the stage, which I love so much. But I think just because it's new, I'm so lit up by being on the back end and having to do all the inner workings of making something magical happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's on me, you know. And wanting, I heard a few mentors, but one in particular, as when I was younger, said, if you want something to happen, if you want to work, you need to make your own work. And now, finally having the time during quarantine, and also just shifting my mindset into, okay, actually, what do I want to create? What else is possible? One of my mentors, Carla Catherwood, has impacted my life in so many ways, but one of the many phrases that really sticks with me is, what else is possible? And so with event planning, I have all the possibilities are endless. What else can I create? I want to create something magical. I want people to feel special, whether it's for your wedding dance and making you that 2 minutes, that 4 minutes, whatever it is of your first dance, making that feel like the absolute happily ever after moment that you dream of, whether it's an event, creating something different that teaches people, that entertains people, wows people, makes people think, that leaves them thinking after the fact of, oh, wow, that felt so good. You know, I want to create new things that, it really comes down to bringing people joy. Wow. So the event planning is what's lighting me up for sure. And even behind the camera and directing, just because it's newer to me, it feels really good. It's so exciting. Yeah. So creating really is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, when you say like creating like experiences, whether it's for a couple, for kids, for the artist, for the audience member, whether it's on screen or in the physical realm, like it is creating these vibes that bring people together and make people just feel. And isn't that that is part of being human in
Absolutely.
this physical realm? And what you do just does bring joy. And so I thank you for just doing what you're doing, because it truly is a gift. Where do I want to lead this? What's your big purpose? So you talked about bringing joy, but like how would you word your big purpose?
My big purpose, what a awesome question. I I want to, of course, I want to accomplish all the things we all do. I want to travel. I want to, build these businesses. I want to experience things, dance on certain stages or with certain people. But behind it all, the thing that really drives me and fuels me as far as purpose goes is, what am I leaving behind? What's my legacy? I want to, throughout everything I do, I know I I do a million and one things, but throughout it all, it's all just to build an empire. What can I leave behind for my friends, my family, my kids, my people I met once in a dance class? What can I leave behind? What impact can I leave beyond when I'm no longer on this physical earth? What lingering energy can I leave behind? So throughout all these different, like I said, businesses and events, those are just fractions of the little empire I want to build to leave something powerful behind.
Mm-hmm. Leaving a legacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, on that note, where can our listeners find you, connect with you, follow you?
Yes, connect with me. My personal page is Kiana, Kiana, Kiki Smith on Instagram. If you're getting married, know anyone who's getting married, my wedding business is Save the First Dance, which is savethefirstdance.ca for the website. And on Instagram is savethefirstdance.canada. And Unite, my newest dance showcase, my newest event. There's actually going to be another one happening in the summer. I will be announcing the date very soon. In Toronto, at least, it will be in the summer. In Ottawa, it will be May 20th. But you can, we're branching cities.
Yo!
I'm so
good
excited.
for you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, and that's just the beginning.
It's the beginning. It is the beginning.
Wow.
We're gonna build this. If you could see what's in here, what's in my mind, it's got some crazy levels happening. So stay tuned.
God.
You can follow at Unite Dance Showcase on Instagram. Please reach out to me. I love talking and sharing. If this, thank you, April, for I just called you by your middle name.
It's my last name. It happens all the time.
Thank you for facilitating this, and I have to shout you out for a second too. I love this whole movement and everything you're about. Likewise, in the times I've had to gotten the chance to have a conversation with you, to work with you. You have such a beautiful and inspiring energy yourself. And whether it's through a podcast, through your Instagram, through your healing, this world is so lucky to have you. And to whoever who's listening, I'm sure I can speak for you as well. If this is the first time hearing April, make sure you get on all her stuff. It is inspiring and filled with love. Every time I leave after talking with you, I always feel at least a few percents brighter. So thank you for everything you do. It's so special. I know this is more of a passion project for you, but it's very impactful.
Wow.
So thank you.
Oh, I received those kind words and like the respect, the admiration. It is mutual. And it's been such a beautiful exchange over the last, I don't know, 30 minutes. I lost track of time.
Me too.
But I guess thank you for sharing your story and your magic with all of us. It truly is inspiring to witness you evolve. And to the listeners out there, I hope Kiana's story, Kiana Kiki Smith, remember her name. I hope the story empowers you to move with love. So until next time, let's share the message, adapt the mindset, live the lifestyle. Let's move with love together.
Move with love. Yes, let's.